Never share these 7 things, Machiavelli's warning. Have you noticed this? There are people who are not more talented than you, not more hardworking than you, not even more right than you, and yet they are always one step ahead of you. And that one step alone is enough to keep you behind forever. I do not think you always lose because you lack ability. I think you are leaking. You leak intention, leak emotion, leak plans, leak weakness, leak boundaries. You call it sincerity, authenticity, openness. But in a world where everyone is watching for advantage, transparency is not always a virtue. Sometimes it is the fastest way to become a target. Power does not begin with what you add. It begins with what you dare to hold back. Not hold back out of selfishness. Hold back out of discipline. If you have ever lost simply because you said one sentence too many, been controlled simply because you revealed one emotion, lost a plan simply because you told it too early, then today you will understand why. History always sides with the one who knows how to keep secrets. And there is one rule before we begin. Do not tell anyone you are changing. Tell no one. Because the moment you announce your transformation, the world gets a chance to interfere. The first thing you should never reveal is your true intention. Intention is a set of coordinates. Whoever knows your coordinates can place obstacles before you even step out the front door. A lot of people do not realize they lose very early. They lose the moment their goal leaves their mouth. They have done nothing yet, achieved nothing yet, produced no result yet. But they have already sent a signal outward, and from that second on, the world begins to react. When you say you want a promotion, other people do not just hear ambition, they hear a threat. They begin comparing you to themselves. They begin defending themselves. They begin judging every move you make through a different lens. Advice suddenly appears. Nods suddenly become more frequent. Smiles suddenly become kinder. But many times, all of it is just a polite way to keep you under control. When you say you are about to quit your job, some people will not stop you. They will simply move opportunity out of your hands in silence. Because now, you are no longer a neutral person. You become someone about to leave. People begin treating you like an asset, escaping the system. And the system always hates that. When you say you are building a project, you think you are sharing your joy. But to many people, your project is not inspiration. It is data. They ask deeper. Ask more carefully. Ask more often. On the surface, it is concern. Underneath, it is measurement. It is probing how far you have gotten. It is seeing what they can copy from you. It is seeing when to step in, when to split off, when to move ahead. You are not sabotaged because you are weak. You are sabotaged because you gave advance notice. In war, being predictable is almost a sentence. It does not matter how brave you are. It does not matter how many people you have. It does not matter how great your ideals are. If the enemy knows your direction beforehand, half the battle has already tilted. Athens in the Peloponnesian War did not only fail at times because of force. Part of its failure lay in the fact that its plans became predictable, and when the enemy can predict you, they do not need to be stronger. They only need to prepare first. Octavian understood this better than many of his contemporaries. After the death of Julius Caesar, Rome was not lacking powerful men, not lacking men with armies, not lacking men with ambition. But Octavian was more sealed. He did not openly say he wanted to become the absolute ruler. He spoke of order, of stability, of saving the republic from chaos. Meanwhile, layer by layer, power was being built around him. By the time people realized the board was already locked, it was too late. That is the difference between someone who wants to win and someone who actually wins. The person who wants to win likes talking about the future. The person who actually wins builds it in silence. You do not need to learn how to lie. You only need to learn how not to tell the whole thing. That is not deception. That is discipline. Not everyone who asks has the right to know. Not everyone who is curious deserves to hear. Not everyone who smiles at you is truly on your side. Next time someone asks what you are doing, do not open a courtroom to present your case. Do not turn your life into a press conference. Do not explain. Do not prove. Do not narrate every step so other people can see how much progress you are making. Just say, I am still looking at things. Nothing is certain yet. I am putting a few things in order. Or just stay silent. You will notice a lot of people get uncomfortable with that answer. They want more. They want to know. They want to fill the blanks with questions. Let them be uncomfortable. The one who has to guess is always underneath. A strong person is not the one who says, I will do it. A strong person is the one who does it, then lets the result speak for itself. And there is one very naive mistake many people make after understanding this lesson. They turn discretion into a new performance. They start showing off that they are sharing less. Start letting other people know that they are learning how to be silent. Start turning maturity into another, more sophisticated performance. Do not do that. Discretion only has value when it is natural. No announcement, no explanation. No need for an audience to witness it. But even if you have learned how to keep your intention hidden, you can still be defeated in another way. A quieter way, cheaper, more precise. That is by exposing your emotional weak point. Emotion is data. Data creates control. Whoever knows where you hurt will press exactly there. You were taught to be vulnerable, to open up, to be honest with your emotions. Those things are not wrong, but they are only true in a clean space, a safe place, a relationship with a history of respect. A person with enough ethics not to use your pain as a tool. The rest of the world does not operate that way. You are not defeated by the truth. You are defeated by telling the truth in the wrong place. Mary, Queen of Scots, is a cold example of this lesson. She did not collapse only because of political mistakes. She collapsed because letters, emotions, private ties were exploited, interpreted, turned into leverage. In the courts of Europe, who knew what you were thinking could matter more than how many soldiers you had. In the 20th century, counterintelligence systems understood this almost perfectly. They did not need to break a person by force. They only needed to know what that person was ashamed of, afraid of, wanted, needed, in order to feel valuable. Then they placed a situation directly on that weak point. The target opened the door on their own, reacted on their own, showed their hand on their own, and often destroyed their own position. That is why you do not need to be numb. You need discipline of expression. Power does not lie in not feeling. Power lies in your emotions, not rushing outward before reason gets there. Between stimulus and response, you must create a pause. That pause is where you take the wheel back. That pause is where you stop being prey. When someone goes silent so you panic, do not run after them immediately. When someone turns cold so you doubt yourself, do not rush to explain. When someone touches the exact fear that makes you want to spill your whole heart just to prove your innocence, that is when you must slow down the most. Most people do the opposite. Someone turns a little cold and they start talking too much. Someone leaves them hanging a little and their rhythm starts breaking apart. Someone misunderstands them a little and they immediately expose everything inside just to regain a feeling of safety. And that is the exact moment they hand control to someone else. Your pain is not free access. Your sincerity is not an all-day open buffet. Your inner world is not a room anyone polite enough can just walk into. You may hurt, but not everyone has the right to see you hurt. You may be sad, But not everyone deserves to hear you speak about that sadness. You may be soft-hearted, but not every gentle look is a safe place. J. Edgar Hoover lasted so long inside the American power system not only because of his office. He lasted because he understood one very frightening thing. Private information, shame, weakness, and fear are a form of soft power. Whoever holds the emotional files of others does not need to shout, does not need to threaten loudly. Just knowing is enough. So, when you need to speak, speak to the right person, in the right place, by the right standard. The rest of the time, learn one short sentence that carries a lot of weight. I am fine. Not because you do not hurt, but because you understand your pain is not a free gift to the world. The harder you are to read, the more carefully other people move. And that carefulness is a form of respect. But even if you have managed to contain your emotions, there is still another door through which you can be broken very quickly. That is exposing your real alliances. If people know who you stand with, they know how to isolate you. In strategy, a direct attack is very costly. Attacking through alliances is much cheaper. Anyone who has understood even a little about power knows that if you want to make someone collapse, you do not necessarily have to attack that person first. You only need to make them lose their support. You think saying, "This is the person I trust. This is the person who influences me most. This is the person always behind me," is transparency. But on the board, you have just drawn your supply line, just pointed out the nervous system of your position, just told others, "If you want to shake me, touch this." They do not need to hit you, they only need to hit the person you lean on. Byzantium is a massive lesson in this. Many emperors did not lose the throne because of war at the frontier. They lost it because of divisions inside the court. One whisper in the right ear, one suspicion at the right time, one close circle broken, one alliance hollowed out from within, and all power began slipping from their hands. The Borgia family in Renaissance Italy was not famous merely for confronting people head-on. They understood the art of planting people, bribing, dividing, dismantling structures from the inside. By the time the opponent saw it clearly, what was lost was not just position. What was lost was the network holding that position up. It is the same in modern life. A person does not need to put you down publicly. They only need to make you doubt the person you trust. Only need to plant one vague sentence. "I heard that person does not support you anymore. Looks like that person says something different behind your back. Are you sure that person is sincere?" One seed of doubt in the right place is enough for an alliance to begin rotting. That is why real alliances must stay in the shadows. Do not display them. Do not tag names. Do not turn your inner circle into a billboard, not because you are paranoid, but because you understand the value of discretion. You can learn from many people. You can work with many sides. You can be polite to everyone. But you do not need to tell the whole world where you actually return when the storm comes. A strong person does not need others to know who their team is. A strong person only needs their team to know what they are doing. Napoleon understood that logistics and alliances mattered as much as the battlefield. An army that loses its supply lines is an army dead before the first shot is fired. The same is true in your social life. When other people can see where you draw your strength, they know exactly where to aim if they want to weaken you. So when you are asked who your closest friend is, what side you are on, who influences you, you do not need to file an internal report. You can say, "I learn from many people. I observe first. I am not in a rush to stand fully with any side yet." That is not evasiveness. That is refusing to hand out the map for free. But there is a layer even deeper than alliance. It sits in the core of the machine, and whoever can read that core can lead you while you think you are free. That is your deepest motive. Whoever knows what drives you can control you through reward or punishment. A lot of people like to ask, what really drives you? Why are you doing that? What's your why? It sounds very inspiring, sounds very self-development. But in the game of power, this is also a hunting question. If you run on recognition, people will control you through coldness. If you run on status, they will trap you with glory. If you run on guilt, they will bind you with obligation. If you run on the fear of abandonment, they will pull you close, then push you away. You are not pulled because you are stupid. You are pulled because you revealed the handle. Versailles under Louis XIV was almost a machine for studying human motives. There, people were not ruled only by command. They were ruled by favor, by the king's gaze, by a position near the center or far from it. Whoever needed to be seen would do anything to be seen. Whoever was addicted to the feeling of being chosen would willingly rush into a gilded cage. Ancient Rome understood this on the scale of the masses. Bread and circuses. Give people enough food, enough entertainment, enough doses of comfort, enough feeling of being cared for, and they will calm down. No need for constant force. You only need to understand what they are truly hungry for. In modern life, that principle is still alive. Social media gives you dopamine. A company gives you titles. A relationship gives you the feeling of being chosen. A community gives you the feeling of belonging. If you do not understand your own motive, you will run very hard for someone else's dream and think it is your own. That is why many people climb very fast. Then one day they look back and realize they climbed the wrong mountain. So your deepest motive must remain in a private room. You may understand it very clearly. You may be completely honest with yourself about it. But that does not mean the whole world needs to know. Not everyone who asks has the right to touch the core of your machine. You can answer vaguely, I want to get better every day. I like building things that matter. I am trying a few directions. That is enough. The harder you are to define, the harder you are to lead. When people do not know exactly what you crave, they cannot offer fake water and make you run after it. Many people do not sell themselves for money. They sell themselves for recognition, for being called special, for the feeling of standing near the center, for the fear of not being enough. Personal power sometimes begins in a very simple place. You are no longer cheap enough to be bought by cheap rewards. But even if others cannot pull you through ambition, they can still pull you through something else. That is what you hate. What you hate is a button. A button creates a reaction. A reaction exposes your hand. Intelligent people do not hunt power, they hunt reactions. They do not need to defeat you in one great battle. They only need to touch the exact place that throws your rhythm off. From there, everything else becomes cheap. You say you hate being ignored. They will ignore you at the exact moment that makes you chase. You say you hate being looked down on. They will provoke the exact point that makes you explode. You say you hate betrayal. They will use that fear to keep you trapped inside things you should have left long ago. They do not defeat you. You defeat yourself because you react. The Cuban Missile Crisis, at a very deep level, also showed the value of controlling signals and not exposing the full outline of one's psychological boundaries. In high-level confrontation, if the other side knows exactly what you cannot back down from, what makes you lose face, what threshold makes you panic, they will play right along that edge. In Eastern combat traditions, even though the image of the samurai is often romanticized, there is one principle that is very real. The face does not change. Do not let the opponent read your fear, your anger, or your desire. In sword fighting, exposing rhythm is death. In life, exposing your buttons is being steered. You do not need to pretend there is nothing you hate. You only need not to announce to the world what makes you lose the wheel. Do not hand other people the remote control to your emotions. then be surprised when they use it. When someone asks what kind of people you hate, you do not need to give them a full list. You can say, I choose distance over argument. I try not to judge too quickly. Everyone has their circumstances. A sentence like that does not make you weak. It only makes the other person lose a tool. Machiavelli understood one very simple and very ruthless thing. A person who loses composure often loses before the blow even lands, not because the opponent is stronger, but because the opponent can steer their reaction. But there is one kind of information even more dangerous than your buttons. That is the limit of your sacrifice. The thing you cannot lose. What you cannot lose is what others use to lock you. You say, I cannot lose this job. You just told the world you will endure. You say, I will do anything for that person. You just told the world your boundaries can be stretched very far. You say, this is everything to me. You just turned it into a cage. You are not forced only because people are bad. Many times, you are forced because you gave advance notice that you would not leave. In European history, many unfavorable treaties were signed, not because one side was completely exhausted, but because the other side had identified the thing that could not be lost. Family taken hostage, a symbol of legitimacy held, the last fortress threatened. When the opponent holds the exact thing you cannot let go of, they do not need to attack with full force. They only need to tighten. In modern negotiation, part of this power is called BATNA. Whoever has the better alternative is stronger. Whoever is seen as having no way out is devalued immediately. You may be very talented, very hardworking, very valuable. But if others know you do not dare leave the company, do not dare let go of the relationship, do not dare lose the position, your price drops immediately in their eyes. Because now they are no longer negotiating with a human being, they are negotiating with a fear. That is why truly strong people rarely make vows. They do not say, I will never leave. They do not say, I will endure everything. They do not announce the limit of their sacrifice like a moral medal. They simply exist as someone who has options. That does not require threats, does not require a cold pose, does not require any big line. It shows in the rhythm of their life. They slow down in front of unreasonable demands. They do not panic under pressure. They do not apologize simply because they have boundaries. They do not over-explain when they say no. People respect you more when they are not sure how far they can push you. But when you tell them yourself how much you are willing to sacrifice, they do not need to test it anymore. They already know. And now, the final leak. The leak that gathers all the others. The leak that causes many people not to fall because the opponent is too brilliant, but because the opponent knew beforehand. That is, exposing the inside of the war room. Power is tied to information asymmetry. Whoever knows more and reveals less has the advantage. Whoever says everything turns themselves into an open book. You tell your plan, tell your fear, tell your conflict, tell your next move, even tell the things that have not fully formed yet. You think you are being heard, but the moment information leaves your mouth, it no longer fully belongs to you. It can be distorted, can be carried to ears that should not hear it, can destroy the element of surprise, can be retold in a way that makes you look weaker in the eyes of others. A great many people lose not because the opponent is skilled, but because the opponent knew beforehand. The story of Enigma in World War II was not only the story of code breaking, it was the story of the power of information. When the code was broken, shipping routes, operations, movements, and decisions all became predictable. Once secrecy is gone, initiative is gone. When the opponent sees the hand preparing to strike, that strike has already become far weaker. In ancient courts, rumor was also a kind of weapon. No blade needed. Just one story slipping out at the right time, into the right ear, in the right setting. A person could lose position without ever being publicly defeated, because in the world of power, perception is often stronger than the event itself. So, privacy is not paranoia. Privacy is discipline. You do not need to live fake. You only need to close the door to the right degree. Coordination does not mean telling everything. Closeness does not mean opening everything. Trust does not mean handing over the key to the war room. The person who has no role in your strategy does not need the map. The person who is only curious for entertainment has no right to go deep. When someone asks too deeply, you do not need to get angry. Do not need to defend yourself. You only need to know how to close the door gently but firmly. Not ready to talk about that yet. It is not finished, so I am not sharing it yet. When it is clear, I will update you. That is all. Many people think power is talking a lot, showing up strongly, making everything clear. No. Many times, power is the ability not to hand out your inner life for free for the whole world to consume. The great intelligence systems operate on one unchanging principle. Whoever controls the flow of information controls the ability to make decisions. In your life, the scale is smaller, but the law is the same. Whoever knows what you fear, what you want, what you are doing, where you are going, who you rely on, what you cannot lose, and how chaotic it is inside your head, that person is holding part of your steering wheel. So do not leave your most important room open all day. Inside it is strategy, unprocessed fear, real motive, an unripe move. The way you piece the fragments of your life together. Not everyone deserves to see that room. And after all of this, here is the last thing you must remember. Power is not making other people fear you. Power is not letting other people control your rhythm. And the thing that protects your rhythm best is disciplined discretion. You do not need to become cold. You need to become a person with boundaries. Boundaries do not lie in posts about self-respect. Do not lie in sharp quotes. Do not lie in declarations that from now on you will be different. Boundaries lie in repeated behavior. You speak less, react slower, explain less, and you stop giving away for free the things that make you readable. You do not need another course. Do not need another morning ritual. Do not need another positive mantra to feel stronger. You need to seal the leaks. History always sides with the one who knows how to hold. People remember the loud ones like fire, bright, intense, but quick to die out. But people are wary of the silent ones like darkness. No one is sure where they are. No one is sure what move they will make. That uncertainty itself creates weight. In your world, the law is still the same. At work, in relationships, on social media, in family, in conversations that seem harmless. Other people do not change the way they respect you because you beg. They change when they can no longer find the old way to use you. So from today on, you do not need to close every door in one night. You only need to choose one leak. If you often speak your intention out loud, keep it more sealed. If you reveal emotion too early, create a pause. If you display your alliances too openly, return them to the shadows. If you reveal your motive too clearly, answer more vaguely. If you let others know your buttons too easily, stay more still. If you keep declaring what you cannot lose, live like someone who has options. If you keep leaving the war room wide open, close the door. Choose one, seal it. Do not announce it. Do not perform it. You do not need an audience for that inner war. And then you will see a very strange shift. You say less, but people listen more carefully. You appear less, but each time you appear, you carry more weight. You explain less, and strangely enough, people become more careful with you. Not because you are trying to seem dangerous, but because you are no longer easy to read. And whatever is not easy to read always forces the world to slow down. That is where power begins, in silence.